performance. Threw for 3 touchdowns, giving him 15 on the year. That's as many as Brock Osweiler threw all last season. By the way, Browns passed on drafting Watson. Little history lesson. Instead chose Deshaun Kaiser, who was benched yesterday. Watson spoke about his performance after the game.
I go into every game trying to, earn my respect, show the NFL what I can do at this level, and try to produce and get better. If I focus on, the other team and teams passing me up, then I lose track of my job and what I was supposed to do and my responsibility. So I just focus on myself, making sure that I'm operating offense and leading this team and executing a game plan.
We've been on the air, 30 days? So far, my favorite segment ever was when Nick went through the list of quarterbacks that the Houston Texans have been through. And he was very sing-songy, and it was very funny, but it was also
16,
very true.
Well, they have changed quarterbacks 16 times.
Different
It's
quarterback.
been 9 different guys that have played for them
So
since Bill O'Brien.
Since Bill O'Brien has gotten there. And so I asked you, Chris, has Deshaun Watson been the guy to turn the Houston Texans into potentially contenders in the AFC?
Yeah, or any quarterback with a pulse would have turned them around the last 3 years.
They've had 16 different changes.
They didn't have a pulse.
Correct. Gotcha.
Between the 9 of them. No, they got it right. They were in pursuit of a quarterback, and they have been the last several years, and they got it right. Now, I also like the fact that they missed on the first one, Brock Osweiler. They gave him the big-time contract, but they realized that, man, he's not the guy. So let's cut our losses. They traded him off to Cleveland. Let's draft another guy. If you don't have a quarterback, you should be in the pursuit of free agency and drafting as many as you can until you get it right. And he gives them the ability, even with J.J. Watt out.
And merciless.
Like we saw this team last year in the divisional round against New England Patriots. Now imagine if Deshaun had been on that team, right? They had a chance to win that game. We saw him this season as a rookie in New England. Been like, wow, if he continues to play like that, yes, this team will challenge for the AFC. So I'm very, very comfortable with Deshaun, what he's doing. And I think that Bill O'Reilly, I think he will get it. Bill O'Brien, he will get it. Yeah, he's another guy. But Bill O'Brien, he will definitely get it right compared to the other guys.
So CC, I'm so glad you made the point about the Texans cutting their losses. The Texans recognized that none of this stuff matters if we don't have a quarterback.
No.
That we got Clowney. He's, a generational talent, theoretically, who's finally came into his own last year. Doesn't matter. J.J. Watt, 3 out of 4 years, Defensive Player of the Year. Doesn't matter. DeAndre Hopkins, we like him enough to make him the highest paid receiver in the history of football. Doesn't matter if the quarterback stinks. So what are we going to do? We're going to give Brock Osweiler $40 million guaranteed despite never meeting with him. You know why? We got to take a shot. Oh, that one doesn't work? We're going to give away a second-round pick just to get him off the roster. Why? Because we want to open up cap space, they thought, for Tony Romo. Because then we're going to have a quarterback. Oh, Romo's not going to do it? All right, so what are we going to do now? We're not in a position to draft a quarterback? We're going to trade to Cleveland next year's first-rounder and this year's first-rounder. So they gave to Cleveland 2 first-round picks in order to get Watson, a second-round pick in order to get rid of Osweiler. Why? We got it, Deshaun Watson. 3rd quarterback off the board, don't care. He's the guy we like because none of the other stuff matters if your quarterback is garbage. Ask Jacksonville. Jacksonville's got a shutdown defense. They got a great young running back. They got some good skill position players. But Blake Bortles is still their starting quarterback every week, so every week they're worse than a coin flip to win. I am now more confident than ever before that if you were to pick of the quarterbacks in this division, forget Bortles, Marcus Mariota, Andrew Luck, Deshaun Watson, who you want moving forward. Man, the answer is Deshaun Watson. This guy he played really one bad game, and it was the game he came in at halftime. Mm-hmm. Since he's been the starter, he has been out there. Even in the Cincinnati game, he wasn't quite ready, but he makes the game-winning play, the scramble.
Right.
Then the next week against New England, a rookie quarterback in Gillette. How does he do? Amazing. And since then, he's been great. Like, this guy is such a special talent.
I was going to say, give it up to Bill O'Brien for sticking with him, too, because Bill O'Brien has a tendency to put a guy in. He doesn't do great. He pulls him out. Like, look what's happening in Cleveland right now. Like, Deshaun Kaiser hasn't really gotten a shot. He's going to take a couple hits and have a couple bad games. I get that it's still Cleveland, but they're sticking with this guy, and he's showing that he's got the fortitude. He's got the confidence. He's a young kid, but he can be a leader on this team. And the more I talk, the more you're laughing. It's really quite wonderful.
Because I'm not going to give him credit. I mean, he's a better player. I mean, I'm not going to give a coach for doing his job, for recognizing the guy's a better guy. I'm going to put him in there. The best players are supposed to be on the field anyway. He's the one who created the situation. He's the one who brought in those other players. Deshaun Watson, when they drafted him, I thought that he would be the starter. And he is. So I'm not going to give Bill O'Brien. He's also the guy that gave Brock Osweiler $40 million without interviewing him. So take credit for all of it. Take credit for the whole goulash that you created.
I'll agree with you on this point. He made a mistake with Osweiler, and they recognized it and fixed it. That was a sunk cost, something pro football teams and pro teams in general have such a hard time recognizing a sunk cost. Like that you're not getting that money back, so if the guy can't play, screw it. He then made another mistake in naming Tom Savage the starter, and he bailed from that mistake.
That wasn't a mistake. Because Deshaun played horrible in the OTAs and in the training camp. He was bad. So O'Brien had to put the best player. And at that time, Tom Savage gave the team the best chance to win. Now, Bill O'Brien knew that there would be an expiration date on that. Eventually, this kid is going to overtake Tom Savage. So Savage was better than him in the offseason leading up to the season.
Well, it was a very quick expiration date. That's what I'm giving Jenner.
When you draft him, how long do you think the guy's going to be in there?
No one thought it would be a half, CC. No one thought that when you name a guy the starter, that the expiration date could be a half. And that's
half of a game, not half of a season.
No, right. And that's, I think, Jenna's point, which is Bill O'Brien made the switch early. Like maybe if you're right that he had to start with Tom Savage, most quarterbacks or most coaches are going to give the quarterback more than half a game.
Look, when we draft Deshaun, if I'm on that team, Deshaun Watson, we draft him, I'll tell him, man, don't loan no money to Savage. All right? Why, bro? Because he ain't going to be around here long. You the guy. It's just a matter of what day you take over.
All right, coming up, are the Falcons still hungover from their devastating Super Bowl collapse? That is next on First Things First.